Hi, this is John from Turbot. If you're looking for quick demos of FlowPipe features, you're in the right place. We've always been able to query SteamPipe for things like recently created access keys. And that's great, but suppose you want to take an action as soon as one is created. Now, with FlowPipe's query trigger, you can. Triggers are how pipelines react to events. There's an HTTP trigger that fires on inbound web requests. There's a schedule trigger that fires on intervals. And there's the one we're going to look at here, the query trigger. The idea is that you write a SQL query to poll a database and trigger when rows change. So let's use a query trigger to watch for new IAM access keys and trigger a pipeline that sends notifications when new keys appear. Here's that same query embedded in a FlowPipe trigger. The database is Postgres, and specifically SteamPipe, because we want to use the AWS plugin for the query. But for a different kind of trigger, you could use your own Postgres, or SQLite, or others, and poll for changes in any of those databases. The schedule is cron, every minute, for the convenience of this demo, but you can omit that line to default to 15 minutes, or use other named intervals explicitly. The primary key is how FlowPipe detects rows that were inserted, deleted, or updated. You don't have to set it. It'll default to a hash of the row, but it's a good practice to do so. The capture block controls what happens when the query returns new rows. In this case, it relays the captured rows to a pipeline that sends a notification. You can also have capture blocks that watch for updates and deletes, and you could run a different pipeline for each set of affected rows. When you're testing these triggers, it can be painful to wait up to a minute for something to happen. So you might want to test with a query step, which is related to the query trigger, but can be run from the command line at any time. And here's the notification pipeline. It receives the keys as a param and uses the message step with a notifier that we're calling new access key. Okay, let's run this thing. Because we're querying SteamPipe, we need to start it as a service. In order to poll periodically, the FlowPipe server needs to be running as well, so we'll start it too. And sure enough, within a minute, it obtained one access key not previously seen. We can see that the notifier ran. Before we look at where the message went, let's wait for the next cycle to come around. And there's the next run. There's nothing to do here because no data changed. FlowPipe remembers the key that it already saw. Because our notifier happens to be configured for Slack, here's where the notification landed. And that's the FlowPipe query trigger in a nutshell. We think it's pretty cool. Give it a try and let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. If you want to try FlowPipe for yourself, download it for free today at flowpipe.io